Good morning, my creative friends, and welcome to Painting in Your PJs with Minette. I'm Dr. Minette Riordan. We had our first snow overnight. It is a chilly, cold morning here in Loveland, Colorado, and definitely feeling a little bit of an emotional hangover from the election that will probably continue for a little while. So, extra grateful to be here with all of you working in our DIY gratitude journal this month. And remember, you can purchase for just $7 the 30 days of both writing prompts and 30 days of art journal prompts. It was beautifully designed by my son Connor. And as I was going through the prompts for week one and where I wanted to focus today, I settled on the day four prompt, which is how has my spirit been shaped or strengthened in midlife? How has my spirit been shaped or strengthened in midlife? And I really love this prompt. So I'm going to create an intuitive collage today because it feels really important to connect to my spirit today and express gratitude for that journey. And painting in your PJs and all the work that I do at my company, Mindful Patterns, is all about helping women be more, especially women in midlife and those retirement years or post career years, feel more connected to our own hearts, feel more connected to ourselves, feel more connected to that sense of wholeness and integration of all of our parts into the amazing women that we are. And so this prompt felt really good today as a way to showcase how important it is that we stay connected to all the aspects of ourselves. And our spirit is one of those aspects. And for you, your spirit's journey and your spiritual path could be one connected to religion, to nature, could be connected to science, to connection with other humans, direct connection to the divine spirit, God. So this is not about being connected to a particular spiritual path, but rather remembering how essential it is for our thriving to be connected to something larger than our lives, than ourselves. And I find that women in midlife often are in that space of curiosity and seeking, and it becomes more important to us. I'm going to be 60 in January. It certainly has become more important to me across time to hold this energy and space and really make time for spiritual practices that nourish and support me. And those have changed across my lifetime. So I'm going to work with some intuitive collage today to see what I can create. I lit a candle to sort of bring in a little bit of the sacred and the spiritual this morning. If you're here with me live, I'd love it if you just say hello in the chat. Happy that we're here together this morning. I just made myself a cup of coffee. It's a little snowy outside. Sisterhood definitely felt like such an important part of the path. And I've got a few different things, a big pile of things here, way more than I'm going to need. This threshold card felt really important. These are from my Journey Circles work. And good morning. Yep, snow. We got our first snow. They've gotten a lot up in the mountains. We got our first, I don't know, maybe inch or so. And the snow's pretty, and right now it's not clinging to the roads, which is nice. So, looking at these images from Cat Caracello. Hi from the UK again, Misty there. Hi, sweetie. My hubby's up in Vancouver. I'm ready for him to be home. I hope you have a safe journey home today. I'm going to drink some of my coffee. So I have all of these images. I have some handmade paper, and I want to just create some type. I'm being drawn to these pinks this morning, trusting that intuitive direction of where to go. I have some fun little flower stamps. I love these bright birds. I think I picked them because, again, I'm feeling drawn to some of these pinks. Where'd my scissors go? I think the hardest part is gonna be sorting all these images because I have way too many. I have a few different pages of words. You guys know, if you've been following me for a while, I don't tend to use a ton of words in my work, but today it's feeling like there needs to be some words along my spiritual path. I love this little bunny. I've used this little bunny before, and there's something about the look of curiosity on its face, and I would say that part of my own spiritual journey, or the path of my spirit, has been to stay connected to curiosity. Lisa, how are you doing today? It's kind of a, depending on where you are in the world, we had an election yesterday, and I'm sure some people are happy and some are not, as it goes with every election. And just definitely feeling all the feels. Um, Painting shadows. So again, okay, don't get up. If I get caught up in words, then the words are going to dictate where the path is going. I love these kind of witchy moon images. These are left over from my October retreat, and they feel that sort of connected to the mysteries of nature. And as I've gotten older and am now post menopause and lost my sort of normal, bodily cycle, I've been really drawn to the cycles of the moon as the way to stay connected to myself and to what's happening in the universe. So maybe a little moon magic is feeling important here. And my goal is to kind of create sort of a path, to sort of follow the path of the different things that have impacted me. I love this little tiny girl with her hand on a tree. This was me as a kid. Loved being outside. We had a big backyard with these gorgeous old oak trees, and I loved touching trees. I still love touching trees. You can ask my hubby. I'm a total tree hugger. Have to pause and touch trees and plants and pick up magical things. Loved this portal. Another little girl. Also really loved the sweetness of this image, and it kind of had that sense of, again, that childhood sense of I believe in fairies, which I totally did as a kid, and being raised Catholic, right? Of being lots of angels and saints and so much rich, meaningful symbolism, but also this deep connection to nature, right? So sort of those two different parts of that. I don't know why, I just loved that piece of blue paper. Connecting basket, a little lantern. I think so much of staying connected to our spirit's path is just trusting and following where the light leads us. Again, that theme of curiosity feels super important. I got some little shiny stickers here. So literally before I got on the call, some typed words. I spent 5 minutes just flipping through a bucket of images in this lace. I love the texture and the brown of this lace. So maybe we're gonna get a little texture happening in here. We have some darker, moody images, right? So part of staying connected to spirit is not always about the light, but also exploring the shadows and the underworld of my stories as someone who is a lover of fairy tales, myths, and stories. I think of the story of Persephone and Demeter and their Persephone's journey to the underworld. That's all part of my own mythology, is the things that I've read, the things that I've studied, the places I've traveled, the experiences that I've had. Another pretty one. I don't think that's that one. I'm wondering if there's any in this little forest ephemera book. I love this book. It has great images. I found this on Amazon. Definitely something around the enchanted forest, flowers and fairies. No gnomes. Definitely not into gnomes. Look at those little bears. Love those little bears. Look at this one with the light post. This one reminds me of the Chronicles of Narnia. Again, that idea of our connection to spirit is, oh, I love the owl. I've been really into owls lately. That our connection to spirit is really visual. It's often very image based, but it's also, can't talk this morning. It's also body based, right? It's often a feeling that we get in our heart, in our gut, or other places in our body. These snowy ones feel appropriate this morning because it's snowy here. But staying open to the experience, to the feeling. Okay, I'm going to put all of these out of the way. I was sitting on a call yesterday playing with just this little piece of paper. All right, and I finished my page from yesterday as well, at least for now. I don't know if it's finished for good. Been doing some journaling, but this was the grateful for my heart and the experiences that have shaped who I am. I ended up totally changing that butterfly in the center and adding texture to the wings. It might still need some, I've got some somewhere, some white feathers kind of maybe tucked into the wings, but it's done for now and I love it. Hi, Tori. Good morning, my friend. So today we are looking at that path of our own spiritual journey. What have we grown, or how have we grown? What has changed? And I sit with this question of why does it matter now? In my Creative Renaissance call yesterday, our theme was based on one of my 8 keys that I teach in that curriculum, which was all about deep knowing. So it's not a surprise that I picked this particular prompt today. Here's a pretty little envelope that might need to go in here. And part of Spirit's journey is that learning to connect to our own inner knowing. Um, I love to pick up rocks everywhere I go. My friend Leslie laughs at me because walking with me is like walking with a 3-year-old because I'm like, oh, look at that bird. Oh, look at that flower. Oh, wait, I need that stick. I need that rock. And I loved this crystal that I found out on the rock the other day, just holding it, the weight of it, and feels very grounding. So part of the Spirit's journey is what are the practices that you have come to at this stage of your life that really nourish and support you. And mine are many. In fact, in the class yesterday, I drew a mandala with all the different practices. Sounds like your granddaughter. I'm sure I've been that way my whole life. I remember uh, we went on a 2-week driving trip from Texas, where I grew up with my dad and my stepmom, through New Mexico and Colorado. Had an amazing experience, and I remember I kept collecting all these gorgeous dried grasses, and I had this huge bouquet. My dad and my stepmom were so lovely to let me have this huge messy collection of stuff in the back of the car. This almost feels like the beginning of the path with this younger woman here. So I'm just going to start kind of placing some things down. And maybe I don't even have enough. We're going to see. But there's this sense always when we're going on an inner journey that that journey requires us to cross a threshold, right? And this again is, these cards are from my work with Kat Carasello. And this one almost feels more towards the end of the journey. There's the sunset and the celebration, but there's something here in this card for me that feels like an invitation, but she has to have the trust to cross this threshold. So I think somehow, no, she's got to walk through this threshold. So this is going to get attached to the page as is. There's definitely a sense along my journey. I was such, a hermit, a lone wolf, have never liked big groups, like small group things. And yet I've come to deeply appreciate sisterhood and friendship. It's why I started our new membership, the Sisterhood of Wisdom and Wonder, because I find that we just are so in need of places to connect with other women like us. Let's see. And a lot of these printed images are from Etsy. You can find images, ephemera, printable ephemera on Etsy, and just about any theme that you want. And I still have a bunch left from my retreat in October. So there's almost like this sense that she's got to have that sort of inner child journey as she's going across this threshold. We had lots of deer roaming the neighborhood where we grew up. There she is. I'm looking for the one that's touching the tree, right? So I want there to be a sense of a journey here. And I do love this little fairy, but nope, she's not for this journey. All right, we're just going to start putting things down, and maybe there's a portal that comes out way on the other end. I'm going to zoom out here. So these are going to be a little bit small, and you'll see my messy table here, but it feels like there's a portal in, but there also needs a portal out on the other side. But I'd love to hear some other thoughts and reflections this morning when you think about that prompt of your own spirit's journey, and how has it shifted or changed where you are now? Is it important to you? Is it different than it used to be? Something about this little postage stamp that resembles travel. Words have been such an important part of my journey, written and spoken words. I need some of these words in here. And then it feels like the color palette is going to change. Like there's a new lantern, new symbolism with all these sort of moony images. Feels like maybe the moon is going to be through this portal here. I'd love to hear how other people are doing this morning. Okay, all these pinks want to come in. This page is just way too small. I'm like, oh, but wait, there's more. So I think there's going to be quite a few sort of tip-ins, tip-outs, places to play here. Okay, yes, this feels like it's its own little card maybe, and it's going to get tipped in to the center. This one is going to be part of whatever's happening over here. It feels like there's going to be kind of this unfolding timeline of really everyday magic. When I think about my connection to the sacred, for me personally, it often is that deep connection to nature. Okay, all right, we're going to neaten things up. This feels like it's part of this one. So what I want to decide, do I have any tape over here at all? Well, I could use some paper tape. I'm thinking that this is going to open up, and then this is going to give me more room to create on this page. Oh, I love that. That your spirit journey is settled than seeking. Yeah, I would agree with that, Tori. That's a beautiful, beautiful way to put it. I agree. Mine is settled rather than seeking. I think what I'm seeking is not a journey, but a consistent practice, right? Like I have a lot of different things. Um, a community would be lovely as well, like a different, in-person spiritual community would be lovely. All right, I have some paper tape here. If you're not familiar with paper tape, right, right. It's like the idea of the practice is there, but the actual doing sometime is lacking. Yes. So if you're unfamiliar with paper tape, I love this stuff. Paper tape, it's self-adhesive gummed tape, and it is so awesome for crafting. It comes in white and craft color, and sometimes the white can be hard to find, but all you have to do is wet the back of it. I love it because you can paint or write or draw over it. Okay, it's going to cover up what's on the other page, and I'm just going to be okay with that because this is important to get this piece in here. And I think I will probably paint this up here. Also, I would say that so much of my own spiritual practice comes through art making as well. That's a big part of the connection to self for me and connection to the divine, being able to use my God-given gifts, right, to connect to the divine and to others as well. And that's not all of the art, right? I don't feel that way about some of the more crafty things, or not always about my painting, but often intuitive collage for me is an opportunity to open to that. Okay, let's something's going to go inside this portal, but I don't know what it is yet, so we're just going to glue this down for now. And maybe this intuitive collage for you is going to take a while to really explore. Maybe you haven't thought for a while about your own spiritual practice and your spirit's journey and what that looks like. It may feel a little hidden or oblique or forgotten, and this intuitive collage in your page could offer up that opportunity. Oh, I think I really want to see the moon, so maybe actually this just needs to go up here. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. It needed a portal for sure. Okay, this might go somewhere else. And I often think of that connection to spirit as a journey that requires me to cross the threshold, right? It requires me to conscientiously be in present moment awareness, whether I am washing the dishes, whether I am going for a walk. I can go for a walk with a girlfriend that's all about just chit chat, right? But I can go for a walk by myself that is a much more meditative, quiet walk where I'm deep in conversation with myself and with the divine. And what is often missing in our lives today as people don't go to church like they used to. Some of you may have, I know, Tori, you have a church community that you enjoy, but I think people are missing the opportunity to connect in these sacred spaces in the way that we used to. And I know I at times definitely feel that lack. It feels like now this story of my spirit's journey is this invitation to step into the threshold of the sacred and the divine, and that transformation awaits on the other side of this journey. So this feels like one piece of the story that is unfolding. This feels like a different piece of the story. Let's see. I got to get some new paper down here. This one's getting a little messy. It feels like this. It's funny, I had ended up with these different color palettes that kind of represent the different stages of the journey. So this sort of childlike connection to nature, but maybe there's a little shiny sparkly there that somehow, I think it's remembering that that connection has always been within. One of the moments when I felt, I guess, a spiritual awakening, or I wouldn't call it an awakening as much as that direct connection to the divine. I was 15 and I was visiting Machu Picchu in Peru and sitting, looking out, and I just had this amazing sense of my own interconnectedness with all things and all beings. Bird or bunny? I love these little wings. So again, just remembering that everything is an invitation here to reconnect to ourselves and to that sort of everyday magic of our spirit's journey. And I don't believe that our connection to spirit is a Sunday only thing, right? Like, so growing up Catholic, there was always the joke of there were Easter and Christmas Catholics, like they only went on the high holidays, or we only thought about it on Sundays sitting in church with Father Murphy. And for me, it's always been about how can I find and a way to bring that magic into the everyday of my life. Lots of portal energy today, lots of thresholds and stepping through and remembering. I think what I love most about intuitive collage is the story always catches me by surprise, right? I always have a theme, an idea, a prompt. It's part of my, what I call my creative discovery cycle, where we start with a powerful prompt, like today's prompt is about, my spirit's journey. And as I'm watching the journey unfold rather than dictating the journey. The journey is unfolding on its own. And I love this process. Okay, let's see if I can get the sticky off of this. These are a little tricky. And my inner child, that little girl, loved glittery, shiny, sparkly, right? Definitely, I have magpie energy where I've always loved that little bit of sparkle just makes a big difference. Okay, I'm going to fussy cut these out. Somehow these wings want to be attached, but I'm not sure how they're going to get attached. So this feels like it's going to be a fun, multi-layered piece. In our sisterhood yesterday, we worked with a retelling of the story of stone soup, and it's so, I don't necessarily consciously plan these things, but I trust my own process. So yesterday we read the story of stone soup, which was all about women coming together in community, sharing and sacred circles, and loved the project. And then we created our own pot of stone soup and added all of the things that we need, and such beautiful sharing on that call yesterday. And then in the afternoon, I had my creative renaissance call about deep knowing, and here we are today talking about our connection to spirit. And there's no mistakes that I'm doing this work right now, right? It's like I'm being called to focus on this theme, right? There's a sense of, oh, this is what I need now, and everything just stacked up in the right order. All right, Mr. Bunny, Mrs. Bunny. Tori, are you recognizing some of these images? I still have such a big collection of them from our retreat, and I'm having fun using them up. Like the story is still very present. Little quiet fussy cutting in the morning is good for the soul, for sure. I love it that you still have some. All right, we're just going to cut your little whiskers off. We can redraw the whiskers. There's something about like the bunny is some sort of transitional part of the story from here to remember to look back to childhood. It's kind of, yeah, they're pieces of the stories all coming together. I had fun this not this past weekend, but the weekend before. There were a couple of women that were supposed to come to the retreat in October and couldn't come, and so we had a play day here in the studio. So it was fun to reconnect to all of that, and I made a new set of cards. Okay, super happy with this, right? This, she's sort of walking through, connecting to that moon. Maybe then she's coming out, and we have this part of the story, right? So if she maybe goes through this portal, then she's going to come in here and remember her childlike connection to the divine. Okay, so the bird needs to get connected. All right, my little inner child this morning is like, give me pink, please, which is hilarious because I don't know that I really liked pink as a kid, much to my mother's chagrin. And when I think about our, do you need, oh, look at that. How cute is that? I was thinking maybe it was going to go here on the side of the page, but no, this little birdie also needs some little butterfly wings. when I think about my spirit's journey, there's depth, there's layers, it's in and out, right? It takes us up and it takes us down and it takes us within. My friend Leslie and I went for a beautiful walk while she was here this past weekend, and we paused at this beautiful pond near the house where this somehow wants to be here also, a little bit more sparkly on there. And the water was very still. Oh my gosh. Hi, Teddy. Good morning. I'm so happy you're here. And I love it. I know I already have this rabbit in other places. I can't stop creating with the rabbit, and I haven't actually looked up what rabbit means, but it's something about the curiosity and that look on his face is just so delightful. Glad to see you here this morning. All right, I am trying to get these two apart. My friend Leslie showed me a trick where you can use Scotch tape to get it off, but the Scotch tape is way on the other side of the studio. And I have so many of these sparkly stickers. All right, that feels like this lovely journey backwards in time through the origins of my connection to nature and to spirit. And where do you want to go? I think this is going to get tucked in here to kind of show that layered. Okay, so I'm going to tuck her in there for a minute. This feels like this is a transitional piece, almost like a bridge that's going to move from this side of the story to that side of the story. And maybe some of these little images of, like, definitely I need my basket of goodies to travel into the forest. So bringing a little fairy tale magic, especially as children, and growing up Catholic, the stories all mix together, right? The stories from the Bible, the stories of the saints and the angels, the stories of the fairies. All right, so somehow there needs to be a little texture, a little shift and change, maybe a little something a little more abstract, a little. There's a nice lantern to light my way. Every time I see these lanterns, they remind me so much of the movie, The Chronicles of Narnia, where she first goes through into Narnia and then finds the lamppost. All right. Yeah, there's like a path here image or a bridge, something that's kind of coming through. Maybe we truly step into the light, right? There's some dark here. Okay, though no words. Those are not the words. But we're going to go deeper into the forest. Okay, these two go together. I'm not sure about that one yet. This is almost still again transitioning from this story, right, to this story. This one's feeling a little trickier today. It's like there's an invitation here to really sit with this. Something about that blue feels inviting, and maybe this little bird is actually peeking out over here somehow. Okay, loving, like there's the layers, right? There's the invitation to explore the layers and the memories. I don't know why this piece of lace, it feels, I love the color. This dark, rich brown feels nice and earthy. Maybe you're a transitional part of the path into something new and different. Hmm. Almost like we're going through yet another portal while the deer is watching on. This feels like it's part of a different story. What's feeling really magical today is this inner exploration, this remembering and reclaiming my childlike connection to the divine. I apparently pulled out all these portal images for a reason. We got this moth here. Okay, these are all part of something. Are you part? No, you're not part. Oh, and here's our moon. All right. Something's happening here. And here's that portal card again. And I think so much of it is about meeting the threshold with trust, right? When we're stepping across a threshold, we can intentionally seek the door that offers depth. So sometimes that's a clear invitation to the journey, and then sometimes it takes trust to step through, right? Okay, so all right, this all wants to go on here. Love it when it all starts to come together. I hope you guys are creating on your own while you're listening to me ramble this morning. I feel a little rambly this morning. And this pretty moth. And why I think this topic is, so important in midlife is because we're looking at every aspect of our own lives through a new lens. We're often in a place of re-evaluating, releasing, reclaiming what matters most. And our spiritual life is such a big part of that. Oh, I love you're just sitting, listening to my rambling with your coffee. I wish you were sitting here with me with your coffee, all of you. I love I love being able to be live on YouTube. I do miss being able to see people. Okay, that feels like a really juicy portal. This might even need to go over on my sewing machine and get stitched so it stays on there. Okay, and this one is going to get tipped into the journal over here. All right, that blue paper definitely wants to be in there, but I'm going to need to find a strip of something to... Are you on the edge of the page? Are you... Yeah, it feels like there needs to be a little space there. Excuse me. My rock is like, I want to come and play. So just again, that sort of childlike, just trusting. Let my coffee get cold. Typical. Okay, let's get you down on the page. There's something about this abstract pattern that feels like connection to spirit, like it's an invitation into the unknown a little bit. Just fold that over there for now. I might trim it up and make it a tag or something. Did I get that close enough to the edge? All right, what I got? It's like there's a shift here between these pinks and these blues. I have this lovely stash of homemade paper. I think I got it from Allie Manning's Books in the Woods. Not quite the right color blue. Maybe we need something a little more earthy and grounding. I don't know. None of those are quite fitting. Maybe it needs some paint. Maybe I need to not worry about it right now. These are such pretty pieces. Oh, look at that. It needs some shimmer. That's what it needed, was a little shimmer. Look at these beautiful pieces. Juicy, juicy. Okay, I saw a ruler. Trim those up later. It's funny because now all of a sudden it brought in that new color palette and space for connection and community in my playtime. So maybe they're going to just sit there for a minute. Maybe there's a news story unfolding over there. This is definitely not going to get finished in the moment because I have another call at the top of the hour. Okay, oh, that feels fun. And not that. And you are going to go underneath here. So I need to decide where my little portal's going to go here. I guess I'm going to stick you down and that's where the portal's going to go. a little deer feels like somehow a little invitation there, or maybe it's gonna peek out again as kind of that transitional part of the story. I'm not sure. Definitely this movement, like from moon to moon and the phases of the moon, feels really important. All right. I think it's going to be simpler maybe than I thought it would be. And the spaciousness now over here on this side, like there's a lot going on, right? There's this sort of return to childhood. There's this sort of bridge here. And that remembering, this feels like remembering to touch and connect. And this feels like the progression. It almost feels like I need another female figure here, an older version of this woman. So I'm going to have to go on the hunt for her. But this moon and these flowers, right? And I mean, our lives are like the cycles of the moon for sure. Okay, definitely want to tuck a few words in here. I want to find some different washi tape, I think. I don't want that brown tape on here, so I'll have to go dig out some washi tape. All right. I'm feeling complete for now. Love the way that it looks. Feels like it's an invitation to remember, to reclaim. Yes, almost too many choices, right? I knew when I picked all the things there were too many choices. It's going to need a few words on it. I think maybe something here to cover up that seam a little bit. But I love the beginning. I love how much I got done. I'm feeling like this is going to be the space for doing some journaling with a journal prompt about my spirit's journey and why it matters now. And this feels like this settling into spaciousness. I love what Tori said earlier about her spiritual her relationship with her spirituality feels settled, that she's not seeking. And I wouldn't say I'm completely settled, but a lot of that seeking has done, and it's a time for remembering. So there might need to be a little something something here as well, to maybe a little envelope. This one's not the right colors, with some words tucked in, maybe a little secret pocket for some writing. But I think I'm going to leave it there for now. It feels good. That rock is going to stay there. I'm going to bring in this candle just to remember the sacred. So thank you for being here. As always, thank you for being live. And I will be back tomorrow, and have a beautiful rest of your day, everybody. Bye bye.